What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris bringing you more games from the Starseries Season 3. This time is going to be between Navi on the Radiant and VP on the Dire. The bans Darkseer, Rubik, as well as Jakiro and Lifestealer. Lifestealer actually a tailored ban towards VP's Airman. It's pretty effective every time he picks it, quite honestly, and I guess Navi just don't want to deal with it. Of course, with that hero being banned out, that means a couple of additional heroes could come in, so we're going to be seeing Leshrac, Naga Siren, plus a Bat Rider just right off the bat. And VP, they have themselves a pretty solid lane combination in those two heroes. I have kind of been slammed with work lately, and it's mostly group work, so that's always fun. And I like my groups are never the ones that are like, oh, I'll do this. Everyone's like, I don't want to do any of this. So it's always like pulling teeth with those guys. But aside from that, I think Starlighter 4 just got announced, and I've been kind of slow on these. So I didn't realize I could get more behind. I thought I was done. I thought it was like, oh, this is the maximum amount of behind I can get. Now I can only just slowly make my way forward. But there's a whole nother one. I mean, wasn't Starlighter 2 a long time ago? I don't really know, but anyway, I don't think I'm going to be covering that in its entirety. In any case, by the time I get finished this, I'm sure there would be a lot more stuff that I can cover. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me, so I've been kind of lax on the uploading. But that's also because of Dire Tide. I think actually today's the last. Damn it! I have to get one more Quas Essence. Whatever. I don't really care about a white egg. I'm actually okay with orange. The orange one looks cool. But I've been playing a lot of Dire Tide, mostly just to farm up items because I didn't have many items beforehand. And I thought, I mean, when am I going to get a chance to get all these items? So I've just been doing that instead of really casting or playing real games. I haven't played a real game in a really long time, mostly because of 100% really because of Dire Tide. But yeah, once Dire Tide is ending, then I'm going to have Thanksgiving break, which is like a week or something like that. I don't actually know how long it is. I have no clue. But yeah, American Thanksgiving. Get to eat food, see some family. It's going to be nice. But yeah, so hopefully we will be able to cover a lot more of this a lot faster once that actually happens. I have this week, I believe, is the last week that I have of class. And of course, that means that this is the week where everyone decides to put their due dates, because teachers are assholes. They collaborate and they're like, okay, when should we make all of the work due? Well, first of all, we want to make sure it's the same day. Then we want to make sure that it's as much work as possible. Oh, it's rough, man. It's rough. But anyway, let's just get back to this game. For Navi, they have 3 competent solo laners. They do have the Bat Rider to solo, usually a mid lane, although it could be something else. Bounty Hunter usually does solo that hard lane, and TA could either go mid or get protected farm. So Navi, their lanes are set. They just need a little bit more support heroes, and they should be fine in this game. VP, they're going to pick up the Pugna after their Leshrac and Naga Siren, usually indicative of a major pushing build, or at least a counter team fight build. Now Navi, they don't really have the huge mana cost heroes. I mean, really none of them have huge mana costs at all. Like, the most expensive is this? Yeah, 150? Is that really the most expensive? 155, I guess. But it's really low cost. But Pugna, anyway, he's probably going to be used primarily for that blast. And when you pick up a Pugna, you could lane him as a support hero, or you could lane him as a solo mid hero. Usually it is a solo mid. He's not the strongest in that sense. Like, Bat Rider and TA could both easily outlane a Pugna. But what you do get out of that is fast levels, and then you can get a high level of blast, and then you can push down towers like nobody's business. So we're most likely going to be seeing a little bit more of a pushing-oriented lineup towards VP, which is why Navi, they're banning out the Enchantress. They're also banning out the Keeper. 2 heroes that could put, well, I guess 2 heroes that could push effectively, but one could put a lot of meat on the front line, and the other one can annihilate a creep wave. And between the Coddle Illuminate plus a blast from Pugna, creep waves will not last a single second once they clash, and that's just easy pushing. Navi also going to ban out that and dying, so yeah, they don't want any of the early game coming out from VP, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have to deal with that anyway, because really, who picks up a Pugna at the 3rd pick? You never have a Pugna banned out from you. It just doesn't happen. So they could have easily picked that up as the 4th or 5th pick, but instead they didn't really want to. Navi, they're going to go for the early game support. They're going to pick up the Tidehunter, who's going to be supporting either. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the TA. Bat Rider's probably going to go mid. I'm actually not too sure. It's up to Navi, honestly, and it could work either way. But VP, they still do have a Chen option for them. And Chen, Naga Siren, Leshrac, 2.5 lane. That's really, really stable up there. And of course, when Chen gets real, I guess level 1, he could pull a big creep and steamroll lane with the Leshrac's Edict. Naga Siren isn't that great at pushing until a little bit later on in the game, but they have Pugna, who's pretty much a beast as far as the early game pushing goes. VP's ban's actually kind of peculiar. I mean, you wouldn't really expect these 3 first heroes to do anything but solo lanes. Bounty, no, I mean, TA could go and get protected farm, but Batrider usually isn't playing a support hero, and there's only 1 support ban with 2 primary farmer bans, so I don't really like these bans coming out from VP. Of course, they do know more than I do, but with Navi's picks, they wouldn't have been going for more lanes. Their lanes were set, they just needed support on those lanes, and Tinker and Broodmother, both solo lane heroes, that would have been 5 solo lanes for Navi, and then that would have made no sense at all. Personally, I would have banned out, like, what would I have banned out? Probably the Sand King to get rid of that stun, because Navi, they're kind of stun light. They only have 2 stuns in their ultimates. And then, well, Venomancer is a good ban, Shadow Demon or something, I don't know. That's why I'm not a captain, but I would have banned the supports out. But VP, I mean, they're smart. They are smarter than I am at this game. They're smarter than I will ever be, quite honestly. So they know what they're doing. Let's see what their pick is going to be. It's going to be a Dazzle. Pretty interesting pick there. Okay, Navi is going to cap off with the Brewmaster, so once again, more solo lane. It could be a support Brewmaster. I'm pretty sure I've seen Arzart run that. And then that's a jungle Brewmaster, if I remember correctly. Have I seen this game before? I feel like I have seen this game before, but I know I have not. Have I? No. I'm going in order. I can't possibly have seen this game before. What the hell? Okay, well, anyway, VP, they're going to pick up the Dazzle, and Dazzle is usually played as a support hero, but he's a support hero that needs a lot of experience, and okay, so their pushing is going to be the Death Prophet. So VP, they do have a solid pushing lineup, but the Dazzle pick, I mean, he's probably going to be protecting a Naga Siren, and that means he's going to have a very low amount of levels, and usually with Dazzle, you want levels, because really, all 3 of his skills are so important, and then Weave, of course, once you get that up to level 2, it's so valuable on your team as well, especially when you're going to have Naga Siren who excels with a lot of armor, Shrek and Death Prophet, kind of intelligence tank carries, in the sense that they just build bulk and then sit in the middle, and then hopefully everything dies before they do. When you have Weave, when you have Shallow Grave, it's a perfect choice for that. And VP, I mean, their heroes, they usually do build bulk. Naga Siren, the Leshrac, as well as the Death Prophet, tend to go for bulky builds, but Dazzle is pretty good with that, because their heroes are kind of soft. I mean, all these heroes are really fragile, and Dazzle, doesn't matter how fragile you are, because you do have the Shallow Grave. And, well, I just noticed this up top. Yeah, I'm not really doing any research for these, I'm just diving in and casting. But apparently this is a best of 2, which means that they're just placing right now. They're not actually going to, like, go for... No, this is a best of 3. What the frack? Hold on. Well, okay, it's a best of 3. Did a little bit of research in that pause, but of course the seamless pausing and unpausing of the recording will mean that you don't even see it. So this is a best of 3, and Navi apparently took the first one. I casted it like 3 days ago, and I just don't remember, I guess, because I am awful like that. VP, they're smoked up. They're going to go for a very quick Roshan. They do have that Ring of Basilius, and, well, really, that's it. They do have Riptide. Yeah, they do have Riptide, so they're going to get a little bit more minus armor. Does that even work on Roshan? I have no clue. With the heal, they should be able to keep themselves up pretty healthily. They do have only 3 salves, actually. So this Roshan's going to do a ton of damage. Tamar Wild currently tanking that up as the Death Prophet going to heal that up. KSI actually went for Split Earth. I think he would have gone for Edict, because really there's only 1 target to hit. NS is spamming out that heal, does have that Ring of Basilius, going to give his team a little bit more armor. And what is he actually getting? Who got that? I have no idea who got what. They're slowly bringing Roshan down, and Navi, they have no idea about this unless Tamar Wild dies, but now Airman's tanking it up. This final salve should be it, and Navi, they're not making any move towards this jungle area, this Roshan area, I'm sorry. So now, VP, they're looking to grab an early advantage, and Navi, they're in no position to stop this. Arzart and Puppy, well, they're scouting out the rune. They don't know anything about this Roshan. It is going to go down. Ermin, the Naga Siren, already does have that level 1 Roshan under his belt now, as Havorst gives him a little bit of a smiley face. Anyway, NS is going to be playing the Dazzle, KSI, and Leshrac, and Airman is going to be joining them on the bot lane as the Naga Siren for an aggressive tri-lane. Looks like Bandit is going to be heading up towards top lane as the Pugna, and Death Prophet is going to be going mid, being played by Tamon Wild versus Dendy's Templar Assassin. Top lane is going to be the Light of Heaven's Bounty Hunter, who's moving really weirdly with that haste rune. And it's also going to be a tri-lane on the bot lane. We have Batrider participating in a tri-lane, Havorst on the primary farmer, the Brewmaster, and Arzart supporting as the Tidehunter. It's a very interesting lane here. I do have to say that there's a little bit, well, I don't know, this kill potential on both sides is pretty darn high. Na'Vi have a ton of slow potential, and then their right clicks are going to hit extraordinarily hard. VP have a little bit more burst damage. Naga Siren has set up for the chain stun from Leshrac, and that's you can't discount that at all. But I do feel like the clap plus the stacking napalm is going to mean a lot more for Na'Vi, so I got to give Na'Vi a slight edge in this game. But VP, they're playing it out very aggressively, denying the effective pull from Na'Vi. So they're trying to make sure that Havorst gets as little as he possibly can. You can see Havorst going for Drunken Brawler, knowing that he has to be doing as much damage as he can with the right clicks as soon as he can. And really, if he gets a clap off on 2-3 people, then that's their cue to enter. Puppy has actually gone for level 1 Firefly instead of the Napalm, so he's looking to do as much damage as he can, but he's going to hopefully use that as a safety mechanism. If you go for Napalm, you're in a little bit more danger. But with Firefly, you could Firefly through the trees and juke kind of that way. Some eyes are going to be on this middle lane. Top lane is going to be Light of Heaven versus Bandit, so Bandit's going to have a huge advantage there. Pugna's going to have the easiest time of his life, just having so much base damage, plus having that blast to spam out versus a melee hero. Yeah, it's a good times for Pugna. Mid lane, it's going to be Dendy versus Tame My Wild. Both of them already have a bottle. Yes, they do. And it should be relatively even. Templar Assassin's Refraction will be very valuable for a short period of time versus this Death Prophet when she only has her Crypt Swarm to actually do the damage, because Death Prophet doesn't really have all that much slow damage over time to burn through Refraction until she gets to the Exorcism, in which case the Refraction will not last for anything, basically. Like, you pop out the Refraction and then it's gone. So Death Prophet is going to struggle up until that point, but once she hits there, she will be just fine. So all eyes on this bot lane. I was actually like in a Reddit thread where people were discussing the difference between these charts, and not gonna have time for that. Puppy's gonna get netted to the floor. Clap though onto KSI plus Airman. Puppy's taking a lot of damage. He's gonna go down to Leshrac, but Leshrac is also gonna drop to the tower. VP, they're diving very aggressively. They kind of want more. NS tanking up the tower on his way out. Art without the mana for a gush, as Puppy is going to teleport right back into this. NS does get away, which is a sliver of HP, but the Tar is trying to stack up onto Airman. Won't be enough. It's a 1-for-1 trade with Puppy going down in exchange for the Leshrac. So Na'Vi kind of getting the lower end of that trade, as VP did get the first blood out of that. So of course they're going to have a little bit of advantage there. Looks like they're not done yet. NS is going to take a couple stacks of Tar. Gush as well, unable to turn around. Art netted to the floor with the chain stun following up from KSI. The Edict pops up as well. Art taking a ton of damage, but also Puppy doing quite a little damage as well. Looks like the Tar charges aren't going to be enough to save the Tidehunter, as VP get a secondary kill on this bottom lane. Escape from the Tar, and they are going to be just fine. Puppy popping a little bit of damage from that engagement as well, but he should be fine, mostly taking it up so that the Tidehunter would have an easier time. Unfortunately, it was not enough. But anyway, I was saying that, oh wow, the gold per minute hugely in favor of the Dire, actually. Oh, that's because of Roshan, so that doesn't really make too much sense as far as this game. But yeah, I actually was talking, and people are saying that net worth is a better graph to show up than gold per minute. I personally think that their arguments were not the best, so probably going to be bouncing back between these two graphs. But you can see net worth, I mean, it shows vastly different numbers from the gold per minute chart. So I'm probably going to start including this one, as well as the experience per minute. Just trying to vary it up, I guess. But yeah, VP, they're going to push down this tower pretty aggressively, actually. Na'Vi lack the real AoE to get rid of this entire creep wave, and they can't pressure back VP's hero comp on this bot lane hard enough. They're going to drop that tower, but they have successfully fallen back, taking 2 deaths on this bot lane. And Havorst, his farm is 7-for-0 versus Airman's 20-for-1, so VP steamrolling down this bottom lane. Mid lane is actually fairly even. Both heroes, well, not yet level 6 on Tamar Wild, but Dendy is having a slight edge here. Tamar Wild, actually, how are you behind? 21 for 2. Oh, 18 denies. Okay. There's the differential right there in the top lane. It is actually surprisingly in favor of Light of Heaven slightly. Bandit should have the crushing advantage here. I mean, simply just melee versus range, but at the same time, Pugna is a blast. Look at that damage. Light of Heaven, it's hard to keep up with that, although when Bandit tanks the creep wave, that could very much help. There's another blast of Light of Heaven. If he gets one more hit with a Janata proc, that could be the death of Bandit. But looks like it's not going to be. Instead, they're going to move towards the mid lane, try to catch Dendi. If this net hits, Dendi is going to die right now. There is the... No, net cancelled. Instead, they're going to go for the creep wave. Tame Wild is level 6, so this tower is going to drop VP with their pushing strategy. They're looking to take towers all around the map. Looks like they're not even going to pop off the Death Prophet ultimate until the tier 2, possibly. Level 2 Edict will be enough to take down this tower. Sonic Trap will fly. But really, there's no follow-up there. Dendi going for the deny, not going to happen. As VP, they could keep going on this. They do still have the Exorcism right here. They also will have an Edict by the time they hit that tier 2 tower, and that's a lot of damage that this tier 2 tower, quite frankly, cannot hold up to. They're going to instead head towards the top lane, so they're going to take a tour of the tier 1s as a group of 4. And Na'Vi, are they actually going to defend this? They don't really have the power to. This mostly because of the support Batrider. I really don't like support Batrider. He needs a lot of experience to get going, and yes, Tar is a very valuable spell. Even at low levels, it could have a noticeable difference in a fight. However, Puppy, oh well, he's stacking up these camps, so he's gonna essentially be a jungling Batrider, but still kind of a low level, and he would be otherwise a very much higher level if he was getting a solo lane instead of a support. So stylistically, I don't like support Batriders, but we'll see how it works out for Na'Vi. Top tower is going to drop now with the blast on top of the Edict, on top of the potential for that Exorcism. Granted, it's only level 1 Witchcraft, so you don't get the most spirits out of this ultimate. I do believe this ultimate was actually buffed recently. Actually, only 4 spirits, that's not much at all, but looks like they just want to hold the Exorcism. It is pretty expensive as far as the mana cost. They don't really need it, though, with the blasts, plus with the 2 sets of Arcane Boots. Yeah, 2 sets of Arcane Boots, 3 sets of Arcane Boots, actually. They're going to take down a tier 2 tower as well. They're now going to push the high ground. VP, after taking that first loss to Na'Vi, they're pissed, and they want blood in form of brick. With the Edict there, now finally the Exorcism. This tower is taking a sizable chunk of damage. Flame Break is going to push them all back. Sonic Trap as well. Art only level 4, so no Ravage quite yet. But VP, they're making use of this level advantage that they have from that early Roshan. The Aegis has been timed out because it is slightly nerfed now. Dendi is going to take a Meld Blast as well. Split Earth. Dendi's still chilling in that Meld. He's got to run out of here. Gush onto Airman. His Puppy is going to make his way in. There's a Sonic Trap onto all 5 of them. KSI taking a lot of damage. He's going to get Shallow Grave, so he's not going to die anytime soon. The Panther and Blue Master has split. Going to go for Bandit. He's going to be brought down, but in exchange for Puppy, so far VP haven't gotten an edge on this engagement. Cyclone up into the air is Tame Wild. His NS starting to take a chunk of damage. He's going to go down as well. The Death Prophet is going to fall back to the floor, trying to go for Arzard. He's going to live at a sliver of HP. Airman taking a huge melt hit from Dendi, and he's going to get Dendi before he drops to Arzard, but it's going to be a team wipe in favor of Na'Vi. All of VP falling out there. I think that's because Horse got all that time to farm. He had Primal Split. Primal Split versus an early push like this where the heroes, quite frankly, can't damage the pandas down, can't even survive the burn damage or the rocks or anything. Horse just did work in that fight, and even though they didn't have the Ravage, their flat values seemed to be enough. Bounty Hunter does have level 4 on that Janata, so that physical damage works pretty well, combined with the fact that there's minus armor from the TA, minus armor from the track, minus armor from the Gush. Meant that VP didn't take an edge in that fight, but you know what? I'm pretty sure they will be okay with that because they're just going to move right back in. NS, level 2 on the Poison Touch, slowing Horse quite a bit, enough for the net to land. Is there any follow-up? KSI following through. It's a little bit out of range to actually get a Split Earth there. They're actually going to pop the Naga Siren ultimate. There's the Edict being popped off. Split Earth going to be canceled again, but it doesn't matter because the Horse is going to go down. We've had that Brewmaster for another 30 seconds. VP, they're going to try to push this top lane once again. They already cleaned out a ton of towers, so they do have a crushing gold advantage, that they should at least, as it is, but the experience advantage at the back of that team wipe is going to be in favor of Na'Vi, so it's going to be levels versus gold. And at such an early stage, levels is going to be a lot more important. Puppy, in a little bit of danger, is going to take... No, he's going to net Airman before he gets netted himself. Sorry, I just knocked the mic. Puppy's going to try to make his way out of this, though. Net is going to deny that, and a blast is going to kill off that Batrider, instantly buying back. Keep in mind, the buyback values are so very cheap at this point in the game. Tower taking a little bit of damage. Fortification does pop off. Art, level 6, going to look for a Ravage, hitting it onto 3 people, 4 people, actually. Tama Wild in the front of everything, not where you want to be. Light of Heaven's going to be forced to get out of there. Batrider is the first one to fall from the Dazzle. The Rax is still taking damage. The Edict is going to bring down the melee Rax. A 10-minute Rax from VP. So aggressive. They're going to get the second set as well, and Na'Vi looks like they're just going to sack it. No point in trying to defend that. They're going to instead try to go for KSI. He's going to get his teleportation canceled off, but Dendi, you cannot run into that. There is just so much damage. Your refraction isn't going to last, and your damage isn't quite yet high enough. Split Earth is going to whiff. They do have tracks on pretty much all of VP, but Na'Vi, they lost Raxes 10 minutes in. Arzart is going to teleport to the mid lane. Sonic Traps continuing to fly. Looks like they want to get a pick off someone here, but VP, they just have so much pushing. They have 3 sets of Arcane Boots at least right now. 1, 2, treads. They have 3 sets of Arcane Boots plus a mech up on Pugna. This push from VP is relentless. And Na'Vi, what do they have to combat against this? Their support cast is Batrider, who has restricted AoE. I mean, Flame Break is good, I guess, but it's only level 2. And Tidehunter, who is level 3 Anchor Smash, but if he walks forward to try to Anchor Smash the creep wave, it's all over for him. He's going to get netted to the floor, and then he's just going to die. Sonic Chopper and a whole bunch of them, of course, goes in for the clap split. He's going to get a whole lot of Flame Break, hitting everyone as well. Puppey going to bring NS back into his tower. Bandit taking a lot of damage. The first one to fall is KSI, the Leshrac. Split still going to put the Death Prophet up into the air as Dazzle's forced to use the Shallow Grave on himself. Not what you want to have happen. Airman taking a lot of damage now in a really rough situation. Huge melt hit from Dendi, and he's going to drop as well. Tamar Wild tracked up, and they do know where he is. Could they get him out? He's going to try to teleport out of this. Of course, no disable there. No disables from anyone on Na'Vi. And Na'Vi do take another good fight, getting 3 in exchange for 0. They're taking the good fights, and Temple Assassin somehow picking off that tower. Oh, there's Dendi. There you go. He's going to find Bandit, and he's going to take a lot of damage, unable to get any of those fraction hits off. The Edict still doing a lot of damage. Roshan is now coming out to fight Flame Break. Going to push KSI a little bit further away, but Sonic Trap hit regardless, and TA is going to get yet another kill. So VP, they're bleeding heroes, but they got the Rax, so they're still, very much ahead in this game. And really, I think they should just take a little bit of time, collect themselves, get their items in order, and then go for the tier 2s. And this push didn't really work well, but as long as the Primal Split and Ravage are down, then they should be fine to go. So I guess what I'm saying doesn't make any sense. They should push right now. The Primal Split is down, Ravage is going to be up, but I do feel that like they could survive a fight like that. So in VP, they're going to push, knowing that the Primal Split is down. Really, the Primal Split is what has been winning Na'Vi these fights, and if they don't have that, then what do they have? They have a Ravage, they have Dendi's flat values, but that's pretty much it at that point. This tower is going to drop, and then VP, they should, if they are... Yeah, they're going to move down to the bot lane. They should, at least. I don't believe they could actually push this high ground with the Tidehunter with a Ravage on the other end, plus the Flame Breaks and Batrider pushing everyone out of position. Looks like VP, they're instead going to go for broke. They're going to get a second set of racks, or they're going to try to at least. Top lane is going to constantly be pushing in, and at this point, Mega Creeps is so difficult to deal with as Na'Vi. Really, like, what are you going to do? Anchor Smash is probably their best tool against that, but they need the Tidehunter on the front lines here. The top lane is going to drop lower and lower. Of course, going to move his way right in and get a 3-man clap. Everyone from VP taking sizable damage from that. There's a huge 4-man Ravage, and AA and S is going to be the first one to drop. Forced to pop with the Shallow Grave on himself. The first one to drop is actually Havorst from Na'Vi. Arzark in the middle of everything, taking a lot of damage as well. There's Flame Break, killing off 2, and Dendi, Light of Heaven, and Puppey. They're going to try to go for Bandit, who is currently out of mana. Airman, very healthy, but he's not being focused because he doesn't do enough damage. Dendi, still in the middle of everything. Light of Heaven is going to join him as well. They're going to go for the Pugna. Flame Break is going to kill him off, and now the Tar charges are starting to stack up. Airman trying to get in a position to kill off this Tidehunter. They are going to get him with the Riptide plus a right click, but now Puppey and Dendi, they're going to go for Airman. He's going to try to pop with some illusions. Not going to happen. More gold into Dendi's pockets. Now Tamar Wild's the last one to live. He is going to drop as well, and Na'Vi get another good fight there. The problem is, though, their top lane is just in full breach. Na'Vi cannot leave their base. So VP, they're constantly dropping these fights, but they're constantly getting a little bit from them, and, well, it's slowly not turning in their favor, because we take a look at the EXP per minute graph. Dendi getting a ton of experience, Light of Heaven getting a ton of experience, and Havorst, I'm sorry, getting a lot of experience as well. And really, the experience is what is helping them carry through these fights. VP, they grouped up as 3 very, very early to go pushing. And pushing is great and everything. You get a lot of gold, but when you group as 3, and then when you go to the mid lane, group as 4, when you go to the top lane, group as 5, your experience income is severely, severely restricted, and that's what we're seeing right here. Level 7 on the Dazzle, 9, 7, 9, versus 9, 9, 11, 10, 8. So VP there definitely on the short end as far as the experience per minute goes. You can see vastly in favor of Na'Vi. The gold not even that much in favor of VP. They might be trying to make a little bit too much happen right now. They know that the Ravage is down, they want to use it, but Na'Vi perfectly coordinating their ultimate, so they always have one big team fight ultimate up. VP relentless in their pushing. The Nether Ward is being dropped to the front line. It is level 3, so it's going to punish the Tidehunter pretty viciously if he, the Brewmaster, I'm sorry, if he casts anything at all. The Nether Ward is going to drop Puppey, using that Firefly, trying to get up to shackle someone. Bring him in. Dendy going to close in straight away for Bandit. Huge melted. He actually has a BKB. I don't know how he got it. Now a net onto Tamoil, going to be brought back into Light of Heaven plus Arzart. Dendy still going for Bandit. Going to switch his focus to NS. Split has been propped. Going to go for Bandit. He's going to fall. Shackling up the Dazzle. Tornadoing up the Dazzle into the air as KSI and Tamoil trying to get out of here. The one to be focused is actually Aaron. Doesn't have the Song and Siren this time to get out of here. He's going to die. And he's also going to drop the gem. In the meantime, Dendy going to pick off the Shrek, who instantly buys back from the game. There's the Ravage to kill that Nog Siren. I'm not sure if she was trying to teleport or something like that, but Nog Siren does drop, and Na'Vi extend their kill advantage 19 for 9. Yeah, Na'Vi not really entertained by the fact that VP have already taken down the Raxes. They're not entertained at all. They're just gonna say, hey, you want to take our Raxes? Fine. We're gonna take your heads constantly. That's what's happening. VP, they don't really. They could wait it out. Because top lane is going to be a constant thorn in Na'Vi's side. That's going to be restricted farm. It's going to be restricted map presence on that lane. VP, they could go for the easy thing. Go for the tier 2 tower in the bot lane. But instead, they're kind of suicidally pushing down this mid lane. Granted, they do know that the ultimates are down once again. But at this point, do they even need the ultimates? Because Dendy's doing so much damage. He has a Black King bar plus a gem. Gem isn't really going to help him. Gem not really helping either side, honestly. But Na'Vi is just getting so much from these, and I do believe that is primarily because of Light of Heaven that Na'Vi have the gold advantages that they do right now. Tracks have been on everyone that they have been killing. That's just so much gold, stacking up so much gold. Tower is going to drop to the Death Prophet. Arzart in the front line, going to take a net, but Horvor's going to move right in for another 3-man clap. Puppey going to drag someone out. It's going to be the Dazzle, going to force himself out of there. Airman popping off his ultimate, trying to slow down this fight a little bit, but everyone's standing in the flaming, the Firefly. It's going to hurt quite a bit. Dendy going to pop us BKB, going to go for KSI. Horvors is in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get life drained out. Flame Break, not in time to cancel off that channeling. NS going to try to Shadow Grave himself out of here as KSI on the front lines with the Pulse Nova, trying to pressure back all of Na'Vi. Split Earth is going to miss. Force going to get another 3-man clap right there. KSI being pushed back as Dendy picks up that kill. Now Bandit's being worked over by her voice. Dendy in a little bit of a situation. He's going to take a net, the Crypt Swarm as well from Tamon Wild, but really there's not enough damage. Everyone from Na'Vi is living right now. Airman is going to try to do a 1v3. Not going to happen. I don't like your odds there. Dendy going to get a silent trap on Tamon Wild. Going to get refraction blocking on everything. He's going to pop up 96 charges. He's going to be just fine. And Na'Vi once again getting a team wipe. 24 to 11. VP spending so much in buybacks. They don't have any item progression, whereas Na'Vi 4-staff on the Bat Rider, a whole bunch of early game from the Brewmaster, Vlad's plus Drum on the Bounty Hunter, plus Phase. Bounty Hunter's stacked as hell because of all this Trackled. Dendy with the Black King bar and Tidehunter with Arcane Boots plus a cloak. VP, they're just going to make another go for it. At this point, they have to make this happen. The Ravage, though, is up. Split is going to be up in 5 seconds, and this is not a fight that VP could win. But really, at this point, they're so far behind, they have to make an attempt for it. There's the Split for Force, actually getting silenced, so, but it doesn't matter. There's the Ravage, going to bring down 1, going to bring down 2. Bandit is going to live just for a little bit more. He's going to go down eventually, though. There he goes. Airman going to be the target focus. He's going to drop as well. The tar charges onto KSI, plus the Tornadoes. They're instead going to go for Tamoil. No, dispel the Tornado. KSI is going to try to fight his way out of here. Not going to happen. Net onto Tamoil. Going to drag him back into Silent Trap. There he goes. There's the quick GG call from VP. 19 minutes in, 1 Rax is down, but the person who lost the Rax is at 15 minutes, Na'Vi. They're going to win the game versus VP, who quite frankly couldn't make the fights work. That one bad fight, I believe on the top lane? Yeah, on the, or on the mid lane. No, over here, the first one on the tier 2 mid. As soon as that fight didn't go well for them, it was all downhill from there. The track gold from the Bounty Hunter, the big ultimates from the Brewmaster, especially. That Brewmaster ultimate was instrumental in Na'Vi's victory. And then once Tidehunter got to that level 6 VP, they were just so far behind as far as that experience income because they chose to go for the pushing, which gives you a lot of gold. It gave them Arcane Boots. It gave them a mech very early on. But gold can only last you so long when your spells aren't doing as much as the enemies. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Thanks for watching Na'Vi versus VP. a very, very exciting game in a compact 20 minutes for your enjoyment. Gonna try to get a couple more of these out, guys, since Dire Tide is pretty much over, and I'm gonna stop messing with my mic. I keep on like nervously touching it or something. But thanks for watching, guys. GG. What a game! So much action, and what a hold from Na'Vi. Okay, it's not working, so I'm not gonna do it this time. GG.